Fellow Americans, happy Independence Day to each and every one of you. Happy 4th of July. On this Independence Day, I just wanted to remind us of some timeless truth that precipitated in us having this day as a public holiday in these United States of America. Every year, July 4th, known as Independence Day, and which celebrates the day of when the Declaration of Independence was adopted by the Second Continental Congress in Philadelphia in the great Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. And I'm going to read a few things. I'm going to read from the Declaration of Independence, and I'm also going to read from the speech that was read by President Abraham Lincoln, which he delivered in November 19th, 1863, which is known as the Gettysburg Speech, which also signifies in great part what we are celebrating and what we are commemorating today. It is very important to remember these things. Because human beings are forgetful, and we need to be reminded. We need to remind our children of important things. This is what happened in the life of the nation. This is its significance. This is its importance. And what can be more important than our freedom? As a South African, we also have a day known as Freedom Day that we celebrate as South Africans. Celebrating the freedoms that we attained as a free South Africa, which is actually celebrated on the 27th of April every single year. It actually commemorates the first post-apartheid election in my home country, my beloved South Africa. Azania, izwe lethu, mayibuye iAfrika, which was held in 1994, and in which the new constitution was introduced in South Africa. But in these United States of America, the freedom that is being celebrated on the 4th of July is a freedom that was attained so long ago that our founding fathers understood something that we need to understand now, that we are free, that neither kings nor queens are going to dictate our future and are going to dictate how we live, that we are free. And as a Christian, it's a very important doctrine And my fellow Americans, as long as the flag flies high, you are free. Happy 4th of July. May this special day be a symbol of peace, prosperity, and happiness in your lives. There's no other day like the 4th of July, fellow Americans. I wish you a great one, however you choose to spend it. And on this 4th of July, fellow Americans, I urge you, I beseech you to reflect on our freedoms, to reflect on how freedom is fickle. Freedom, fellow Americans, is truly, she is a fickle bitch, isn't she? As a certain Ronald Reagan once said that freedom is always not more than one generation away from extinction. This is why I'm saying that freedom, she is fickle. You need to remember that we collectively need to remember that. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights. Chief among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And that so to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. That whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of we, the people, to alter or to abolish such a government and to institute a new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to effect their safety and happiness. Fellow Americans, prudence indeed will dictate that governments long established should not be changed for light and transcendent causes, and accordingly all experience had shown that mankind are more disposed to suffer while evils are sufferable than to right themselves by abolishing the forms to which they are accustomed. But when a long train of abuses and usurpations pursuing invariably the same object evinces a design to reduce them under the absolute despotism, it is their right, their duty to draw off such a government and to produce new guards for their future security. Such has been the patient sufferance of these colonies, and such now the necessity which constrains them to alter their former systems of government. The history of the present king of Great Britain is a history of repeated injuries and usurpations, all having in direct object the establishment of an absolute tyranny over these states. To prove this, let facts be submitted to a candid world. Friends, fellow Americans, and everyone else who is watching from whichever corners of the world you are watching from, this is a very important day. I hope and I wish you can ponder on these words the Declaration of Independence. Ponder on it, ponder on these words. These are solemn words. I also want to read to you, fellow Americans, from a copy of the President Abe Lincoln of his Gettysburg Address. Now, we are engaged in a great civil war, testing whether that nation or any nation so conceived and so dedicated can long endure. We are met on a great battlefield of that war. We have come to dedicate a portion of that field as a final resting place for those who here gave their lives that the nation might live. It is altogether fitting and proper that we should do this. But in a larger sense, we cannot dedicate, we cannot consecrate, we cannot hallow this ground. These brave men, living and dead, who struggled here, have consecrated it far above our poor power to add or distract. The world will little note nor long remember what we say here, but it can never forget what these men did here. It is for us, the living, rather, to be dedicated here to the unfinished work that they who fought here have thus far so nobly advanced this cause. It is rather for us to be here, dedicated to the great task remaining before us, that from these honored dead we take increased devotion for the cause for which they gave their last full measure of devotion. That we here highly resolve that these dead shall not have died in vain, that this nation under God shall have a new birth of freedom, and that the government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth. Abraham Lincoln, November 19th, 1863. Friends, family, fellow Americans, and foe alike, let us remember today our heroes who advocated the freedoms that we all enjoy today. Happy 4th of July. I wish you a peaceful, a prosperous Independence Day on this 4th of July, on the year of our Lord 2025. God bless you. God bless the United States of America.